and the knee gave me a little.
A little jerk.
A little twinge.
Little warning.
A little bursa sack.
Yeah.
You know?
A little careful.
Like, wah, wah, wah.
Hey.
Danger. Danger.
You're 37.
Stop
Easy.
it.
This isn't worth it, dude.
Yeah.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, in the Sode Shack tonight. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. It's the Week 7 recap episode, and we've got a special treat for you all tonight in the back half of the episode. If you're listening in the podcast feed, we are going to have the IDP trade show breaking down your trades live on the pod. Boys, I missed you all. We've had a couple weeks here of vacations and taking some time off, so it's good to be back in the Sode Shack with you babies.
Great to be back.
What was
Feeling so good right now.
Yeah, you're 100% at it for sure. You're not in any sort of agonizing pain.
No, my neck is better than it's ever been.
It's better than it's ever been.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the Peyton Manning neck at all. Bobo, how are you? Any body parts ailing you right now?
Yeah, most days, but today I'm 75%, you know.
You don't ever get back to 100% post 35. You're just kind of like hovering around 60 to 78%.
I will say we played a little pickup football with the kids at the house the other day. A couple families were over playing a little, deep safety. Went to kind of push towards the ball to see if I could get ahead of it and intercept it. And the knee gave me a little...
A little jerk.
A little twinge.
Little warning.
A little bursa sack.
Yeah.
You know?
A little careful.
Like, wah, wah, wah.
Hey.
Danger. Danger.
You're 37.
Stop
Easy.
it.
This isn't worth it, dude.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
I don't know that I've told this.
No one's going to think you're looking cool.
No.
It's not worth it.
I don't know that I've told this story on the
Kids
pod.
are 8.
But we used to do the Turkey Bowl. Me, my brother, my dad, and my uncle, who played college football at EKU, in the backyard before Thanksgiving dinner. And, Dad and Tim were in their late 40s probably when we're doing these games when we were kids growing up. And I'll never forget the last year we ever did it. They were both going hard because we used to really play hard, try to win. And I remember both of their hammies popped almost at the exact same time. It was like shotgun blasts. Pop, pop. Like gunshots went off, and they were black and blue up the back of they had ice on the back of their leg with a big wrap on it during Thanksgiving dinner, and they were like, yeah, I think that's it. I think we're going to be done. So I don't want to end up like that, wrapped up with ice for Thanksgiving dinner.
I do want to be active. I want to be active later on in life, though. I don't want golf to be gone in my 50s, I want to still be out there getting after it.
Oh, yeah. We got to figure it out.
Got to figure it out.
Quickly.
Biofreeze, icy hot, muscle relaxers, whatever we got to do to bring you all the Week 7 recap.
Who was here last
we're
week?
We're going to do it. It was me and you. It was
me and you.
Yeah, we did a little afternoon pod.
Okay.
Me and you the week before that.
That's right.
So now we're all back together.
Been a blur.
Well, we're excited you guys are here. We're going to hit about 6 points for the recap. And then, like I said, back half of the episode, if you're listening in the audio feed, will be the trade show. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out our channel. You can find the trade show episode. We're going to live stream it right after we finish recording this recap. So, boys, let's touch on, like I said, about a half dozen of the biggest storylines coming out of Week 7. And let's start in Denver, that god-awful Thursday night football game, Saints, Broncos. Remember when the Saints were good for like 2 or 3? Yeah, 2 weeks or so. And then it's just been straight downhill since then. Well, Cody Barton helped put the nail in the coffin for the Saints on Thursday Night Football. 8 tackles, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery for a touchdown. He almost had a 50-point night. He also had another fumble, scoop, and score from the 30, wiped off the board due to a defensive offsides penalties. He didn't have any big plays. Coming into this game, he was averaging 6.5 points per game by Big 3 scoring before this explosion, but he does get Carolina in Week 8. So that's a good reminder, Eddie. We can find starting linebackers on the waiver wire every year.
Yep. And I mean, he's getting his opportunity because, the injury to Singleton, and he's basically just been plug and play. I mean, the production hasn't been that much different. You can pretty much pencil him for 8 to 10 tackles a week. And then, the big plays haven't been there, but he'll sprinkle those in occasionally. So, he's a no worse than a linebacker 3 for you moving forward.
Yeah, and it helps to be able to play a rookie quarterback like Spencer Rattler. I will say I'm not entirely sure it's going to be Andy Dalton leading the Panthers. I don't know if y'all saw, but he was in a car accident today with his family they made a weird point of explaining that he was being checked out by the team's medical doctors rather than going to the hospital.
Yeah, the Schefter tweet said something like, he's not, the wording was weird. He's not being
He's
evaluated.
not being taken to the hospital.
Yeah, I was like, why would you say it that way?
Yeah, it was just weird. I don't know why they had to thought they had to clarify that, but yeah, Cody Barton strikes again, Baba. We've made fun of Cody Barton on this show before just because he's the definition of just your plug and play mediocre linebacker who
Rhymes with fart.
Yeah, Cody Fartin, Startin Barton is back in our lives, and it seems like every year he pops up off the waiver wire at some point.
Feels like this is the time of year where you can get some yucky linebacker production out of guys like Cody Barton, guys like Nate Landman, guys like Jack Sanborn. You know, we're getting pretty injured. What are we going into now? Week 7?
Yeah, we're going into week 8.
Yeah, so we're about halfway through the season, and you know, we just sat here and talked about all of our offensive players that are hurt in fantasy, and there's a ton of defensive players that are hurt too. So if you're hurt at linebacker, you could definitely do worse than old Cody Barton, Startin Barton.
Well, you're going to be starting, I think, this next guy, the Germaine
Also,
Apple of Addie's eye.
Kamara got an extension.
He did.
Hey,
They still got money.
Apparently. They
Sounds
always
like
have money.
it.
They're just like, just put it on the tab. We'll pay it in 2038.
crazy.
Yes, the Germaine Apple of Addie's eye, Germaine Pratt, has been a revelation this season. 7 straight game of 13 points or more, thanks to 13 tackles, a 15.9% tackle rate on Sunday afternoon. He has Pratt has 61% of the tackles and 62% of his points from his 2023 totals through just 41% of the game. So he's well eclipsing what he did last year. He also has yet to record a sack after averaging at least 1 a season for the past 3 years. So there's room for improvement. Addie, Pratt was always like that supercharged LB2. Like if you had Pratt as your LB2, especially if you had him as your LB3, that was beautiful. This year he's on that LB1 borderline.
Yeah, I mean, he is linebacker 2 right now behind Fred Warner as far as total points go. So, yeah, he's been incredible. He always just been a great value, right? I mean, that was, you could get him, in these IDP only best balls 6 to 7 rounds after Logan Wilson, and the production isn't that much different. But what you're seeing this year with Germaine Pratt that is a little different is he's playing damn near all the snaps. I'd say he's probably playing 95% of the team snaps this season. So he's basically a full-time linebacker, and that's going to help the production. But he's going to be one of these guys that just keeps lingering around as a good asset, continue to be slept on. You can probably get him for a third, and I think you'll be happy with him. I think you'll be happy just to have a solid, reliable vet. You could look up and he's like a Demario Davis type at 33, 34. So I like Germaine Pratt quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it as far as Demario Davis. I like that comp, Bobo, because it's a linebacker who is actually really good, not just like one of these kind of stat sheet stuffers. Germaine Pratt is actually really good. And like Addie said, I think the thing that has changed is the snaps. Seeing him get almost all of the snaps now, I think, is the reason we're seeing such a big boost in his production.
I think you even said a couple weeks ago that Germaine Pratt was one of your favorite picks so far, not only in Dynasty and redraft and stuff, but also in the best balls, just because of the ADP. I was pulling up Logan Wilson because I just kind of wanted to check in and see where he's at. He's been pretty good this year. I mean, he's hovering around 10 tackles a game. He really only has one big play on the season. He has one forced fumble in week 1. But, I mean, you get 10 tackles a game, man, that's hard to find.
Yeah, his tackle numbers are definitely better than they've been to start. But, yeah, I mean, Germaine Pratt, 17 points per game right now. Logan Wilson, 12.6 points per game. So you love to see that.
We throw around league winner a lot because, it's hyperbolic and it kind of gets it's clickbait and
content,
gets attention.
baby.
Yeah. But Germaine Pratt really is the league winner type. LB45 by our ADP, going as LB2 right now according to scoring.
What was Logan Wilson?
So I want to say Logan Wilson was maybe
top 15.
Yeah, 10
he
to 15.
was LB14. So this is
honestly pretty decent return on investment.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's fine. It's better than Okereke or
Yeah.
a lot of the other guys.
One of the ones that's not busted, honestly, in the top 15, I'd say.
Yeah, you weren't here for that talk last week. Okereke, you buying right now, or are you kind of worried?
I feel like the second half is going to be better.
Yeah.
But he still was not someone that I'm super excited about for Dynasty. He just feels like one of those Blake Martinez types, just pull the rug out from underneath.
We told you to
He's
sell.
No value.
100% of snaps. It was just like a perfect storm last year. I mean, look at the top. Let's do the top 15. Foye, obviously, that was trending in the wrong direction even before the plantar fasciitis. Roquan's been great. Fred's been great. Bobby Okereke, not great. Ernest Jones, pretty solid. Nick Bolton.
Not good enough, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying, like, are any of these guys even playing well?
No. They're being okay. Bolton's been okay.
Yeah, Bolton's been fine.
Ish.
Ernest Jones has been fine. Zaire has been good.
He's been solid, yes.
Edwards, I haven't checked in on Edwards
He's
in a
kind
while.
of been disappointing, but I feel like he's going to get going.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen, very disappointing up to this point. Quincy Williams,
I feel like big plays are coming for him.
yeah, seems like a kind of arrow up
I
back
think he's
half
like
of the
a back
season
end,
guy.
Yeah, back end 2 right now.
Yeah, Terrell Bernard, LB11, been hurt.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner, LB12,
Yeah.
solid.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that looks great. Quay Walker, LB13, fine. Logan Wilson, we mentioned, LB14, and then Aziz Al-Shair, LB15.
That's been good.
So-
And then Levante David around there, too.
Yeah, he was next,
smash.
or a couple down. Frankie Louvu was 16, Singleton was 17, Levante David 18, JOK, LB19.
He's been a great one.
So,
So, yeah, I mean, like half and half.
but then you get down to Robert Spillane at LB23,
Yeah.
right? And Blake Cashman at LB27.
That's where the money is. It's where the money always is, right there in the linebacker 20 to 40 range, 45 range.
Eric Kendricks, LB33.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah, that's where you want to be. I understand the rationale behind going LB early in drafts because 3-down linebackers are harder to come by, but this is a pretty good. It kind of refutes that idea a little bit because there's so much value, right? You can still find these 3-down guys later in drafts because drafters get excited about like the Jack Campbell and Trenton Simpson types that haven't proven it and aren't for sure locked in 3-down linebackers because we just want to get the next big thing, Bobo.
Yeah, sometimes you just you want what's working now.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always want to chase what could be 2 or 3 years
Sometimes
down the road.
the answer is just Eric Kendricks,
Yeah, for sure.
you know? But yeah, in that same mix, we were just talking about Ivan Pace. He surely set a blistering pace this weekend.
That's you or Aaron.
That's Aaron. Aaron writes the headlines on these.
It felt like
I
that.
give him,
Yeah,
I give him a
Aaron vibe
once
to it.
A little
over.
weak.
Yeah.
That's all right, guys. Come on.
Just
Ivan
kidding. That's
sets a
pretty
blistering
good. Pretty
pace.
good, Aaron.
Pretty good. Blake Cashman missed Sunday's game against the Lions. Toe injury. Ivan Pace Jr. picked up where he left off before the bye with another incredible showing. It was one of those games, if you watched it, where it's like he was everywhere. He was the best player on the field at times for both teams. And he had 10 tackles, which was a 17.5% tackle rate, 1 sack, a fumble recovery, 4 touchdowns. So very similar to Cody Barton in that regards. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said the toe injury could keep Cashman out for the coming game against the Rams. It's this Thursday night's game. If Cashman can't go, fire Pace all the way up, Addy. He is electric.
That's what we talked about Pace whenever we were reviewing those rookies in 2023. We talked about when he gets an opportunity, the way he produces, dude stuffs the stat sheet. Going back from a time at college, he was like racking up like over 130 tackles, and then like the sack numbers were also ridiculous. And what are you seeing? You're seeing that translate into the NFL. So these guys are who they are. I firmly believe that the college production really matters, and especially in the case of Ivan Pace. So, yeah, as long as he's out there, you know, getting snaps, he's going to continue to produce like a top 15 linebacker. So, big fan. We've said this all along. He just needs his opportunity.
Yep.
And for how long is he going to keep it? I mean, if he keeps playing like this, you know.
That's the thing. We love Cashman, but, I mean, Pace just gets on the field and make plays. John.
And Cashman gets banged up all the time.
That he
Like,
does.
That is his
That's
thing
the one
at this
knock.
point.
That was him in Houston last year, too.
Yeah.
Toes are tough. I mean,
Turf toe's not great.
yeah, that could be a lingering thing.
I always just thought it was kind of like gout, like
No.
turf toe, but
Yeah.
it's like, it just sounds weird. It's a weird sounding injury.
And it's just so important, just
Yeah.
planning and pushing off and change of direction.
Painful.
Like,
You don't want foot stuff as a football player. It's not as an athlete in general. Yeah, John says here in the IDP report for Week 7, check that out, pff.com. Pace will likely be a top 12 linebacker for IDP as long as Cashman is out.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
agree.
just watch the practice reports. If Cashman is out, fire Pace up with confidence. What are we doing in Indy, though, boys? Grant Stuart He was the main, M-A-N-E, attraction in Indy. Arn's doing pretty well this round, y'all. He had, as Mike Wollert described it in Slack when discussing his flowing maid, what a fantastic head of lettuce. We agree. You know, we love our long-haired babies on the IDP show. Stuart filled in for the injured EJ Speed and calmly collected 19 tackles on a 93% snap share. He didn't do anything else apart from tackle, but neither has Speed this season, and he's been great. So whichever one of them it is, you're starting them. I will say your boy, Carly's, went out of this game, and then Stuart stepped into that full-time role from there forward. So I think that has a little bit to do with this, but it just proves to me any linebacker you plug in that Gus Bradley defense, if they're filling in for Zaire Franklin or EJ Speed, I think they're a must-start linebacker every single week.
It's interesting though that so Carly's got the look over.
Saguna Luby was in the mix as well.
Yeah,
Grant Stuard obviously was the guy that stepped up once Carly's went out.
My only hesitation would be that this might be too muddy to make sense of while there's some injuries here. Like if we know there's players out, then that's maybe one thing. But once some of these players return. I don't know. You're right. There is production that needs to be chased, but
I don't know who it's going to be, though.
Correct.
Like if EJ Speed's out, I'm not going to say with confidence it's going to be Grant Stuard.
Correct.
Because it could very well be Alubi again. Maybe Carly's is back. I don't know what the severity of his injury was, and he was the guy that was getting run out there. It was the Dolphins.
Okay.
And we got the Texans coming up this week. I think EJ Speed will be back. I don't think he's going to miss this game against the Texans.
Yeah, he's going to get his job back, right?
Yes, he will. Absolutely.
Okay. Also wanted to shout out Jalen Jones, just from a fantasy perspective. That dude's been really, really good this season. He's currently DB5, averaging 15.4 points per game. You look at the log, 17.25 week 1, 5.5 week 2, 29.3 week 3, 11 week 4, 19 points week 5, 12.25 in week 6, and then 13.75 in week 7. So consistent, solid, getting the snaps.
That's the thing. He's out there all the time.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the season, there was a lot of Colts fans and analysts kind of bemoaning Chris Ballard didn't do enough to address the DB room. We're going to get cooked. And our DBs have actually played really well. Womack has been good. Jones has been good. Kenny Moore, of course, is an absolute dog.
You don't have Juju Brents.
Yeah, Juju Brents is gone for the season. We still have Blackman and Nick Cross as the two safeties.
Tackling everybody.
Yeah, so
your D-line is what's struggling.
Well, Buckner will be back this week.
That's going to help.
JT should be back this week. So, obviously, we lost Ebucam for the season already. Quiddy Pay's back in the mix. Latu got his second sack this week. So
Nick Cross averaging 9.9 tackles per game. That is first among all defensive backs.
Yeah, not a surprise.
That looks like ranked 7th among all players. So
there you go. He's basically a linebacker out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how. There's just like all the tackles. I would love to see the pie chart of tackles for the Colts because it's probably like 30% each for Franklin, Speed, and Cross with nobody else getting any sort of tackles.
The Cross line from week 1 is what fooled me. I thought this is not going to stick. This is just an outlier here, but good gosh. Here we are week 8.
Here we are.
He's been pretty dang good.
Yeah, his worst game, 9.25 points this season.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to forget the past, but it's hard to forget how big of a bust he was last year.
In this year's safety landscape, oh gosh, that's so valuable.
But it also wasn't his fault that he was a bust. It was a lot of us, anointing him before he was that dude.
The coaches anointed him. They started him week 1 and then yanked him for the second game. So it was just, I think they had plans for Nick Cross to be that guy.
Yeah.
And then they saw him on skates out there.
Sure, but just the second year, right? Young dude. Even if they have plans for him, they can pull those quickly, So,
yes.
We just got to keep that stuff in mind. Like these young guys, sometimes there's going to be, some trials and tribulations with them.
Cross have any draft capital?
No, I don't think. Well,
later.
He was like a 3rd round pick.
I was going to say it was higher than I was thinking. Let's see. Nick Cross was. Let's pull up the old Wikipedia page. That's typically the easiest way to find it. He was. Looks like the 96th pick in the 3rd round of the 2022 NFL draft. So I guess it was actually
back of the 3rd.
This is his 3rd season. I guess I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I kept thinking last year was his rookie year, but the first 2 years, nothing to write home about. 3rd year,
he was injured the entire first year, right? Wasn't he hurt year 1?
I'll have to go back
feel
and
like-
look at the
Because
log.
somebody retired there, and that's when we thought that Nick Cross was going to take over.
Well, it was like
Yeah,
Rodney
who was
McLeod
that?
was the guy that was getting snapped over.
No, that was Adam's joke.
It was the missionary.
Oh, it was.
Who went to be a missionary?
Oh, dude, it was our boy. Oh my
It's
God, loved
right-
him. We loved him.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to look this up.
Starts with a K.
We'll look it up. But I wanted to see Nick Cross's the start to his career because I don't remember him really doing anything of note his first 2 seasons. Let's take a look and see what this looks like for Nick Cross. Yeah, so ESPN, just give me the career stats.
Kari Willis.
Kari Willis.
Gosh.
Yes, you were right. Started with a K.
One of the greatest jokes on the pod.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it went. Something like
You're telling me
Nick Cross.
Kari Willis is going to be a missionary,
And
and,
the-
the guy replacing him is Nick Cross.
Yes, that was it. There you go. You found
like
it.
that, yeah.
7 games his rookie season. He played 17 games his second season, but only started 2, and looks like had 39 tackles. So there you go. He already has 69 tackles. Very nice this season. So that's Colts talk. Let's go Rams talk. Bobo, Jared's potential is out of this universe. Jared Verse is averaging 12.2 points per game on the season in 6 games, making him the second highest scoring IDP rookie behind Addie's boy Tyke Smith. That's what I was going to say. It's Nick Cross is no Tyke Smith. Verse
Day
also,
one, baby.
Yes. Verse also has 1 sack to his name for the whole year on 27 pressures. So if you're looking for those candidates for positive regression as far as sacks go, this is your guy. If he can convert even a fraction more of those opportunities, he's going to have a monster second half of the season. Bobo, we know you watch the Rams games. How's Jared Verse been looking?
he looks pretty crazy. He looks like he's in the backfield all the time. But I think we kind of called what was going to happen a little bit with Verse. I mean, you saw week 1, he got a quick sack. He's had solid tackles all season, but we expected some regression there from Byron Young. How many sacks did Byron Young have last year? 8
8 or
10?
9?
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
8 to 10 range?
And we kind of thought that was going to come back to earth. He has 2 so far through 7 weeks. So he's come back from, come back from 10 sacks quite a bit. Kobe Turner hasn't been great either. Braden Fisk is still trying to kind of figure it out a little bit. So Jared Verse is great. I think if you can buy low on Jared Verse, this is your window because obviously 1 sack on 27 pressures isn't going to continue. I don't know at what point, Adam's dynasty ranks or something. A lot of times that in my head, I go to like, where do I think Jared Verse could be maybe like this time next year, maybe in 2 years, Could you have Jared Verse around like your Josh Allens of the world?
I think he's ahead of him right now.
Yeah, I think that's not too far off.
I think he actually is.
Yeah.
I think in the latest update, I bumped him up ahead of him just because I'm sick of Josh Allen.
I love that.
Jared Verse he's good, man. He's going to be a guy that gets his tackles. Because, I mean, you're seeing it now. You're seeing what he does without the sacks. Like, the floor with him is really nice because he gets tackles, gets TFLs. Like, he's an aggressive player.
He flashes. That's what we talk about in the rookie season. Get on the field, play well, show flashes. That's all we need.
Yeah.
That's it.
Has Josh Allen always been Josh Allen in the ranks, or has he been Josh Hines Allen? Did you take Hines out?
Is he back to Allen?
He's back to Allen.
Addie's trying to reverse the curse of the
Yeah.
name change. Strikes again.
It's a bad
Shaq
move.
Leonard
So-
wants his name change curse back.
Yeah.
I think
So-
Josh Hines Allen took it from him.
Doesn't work.
Wow, it just updated. That's crazy. So that's weird. I hadn't gotten on here in a couple days. Dallas Turner, you got as the edge 8. Jared Verse is the edge 9. Latu at 10, and then Josh Allen at 11. Brian Burns there at 12. So
And Burns will probably be bumping ahead
Yeah.
of Josh Allen, too,
yeah.
after this weekend.
What
Because
about
Brian Burns looks great,
He does, yep.
would you rather have Josh
You do
Allen or
the excellent meme for this. For one of these, we got to give some love to Brian Burns at some point. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't guess we're gonna do it this episode, but
Mr. Burns.
yeah.
We talked about him a little bit, I think, last week. It was in the Dexter Lawrence talk, and
Yeah.
it was Azeez Ojulari and Brian Burns, and they played well again
Yeah.
this week.
Dexter
So
Lawrence has 9 sacks.
he's the sack leader, dog.
Isn't that insane?
going into 8?
Insane. Byron Young had 8 sacks last year. He has 2 so far this season.
You want to look at the sack leaders real fast?
Yes, please.
Dexter Lawrence 9, Will McDonald 8, Aiden Hutchinson
Man,
7.5.
that is not to the same extent, but pretty damn close. That's the Jalen Phillips injury
that's
that's
probably
just
worse,
going
honestly.
to haunt us because Aiden Hutchinson was a tier or two up from what Phillips was doing last year, but it was like I would have just given anything to see Phillips finish the season.
That's a really bad injury for Aiden.
It's tough.
I mean, it's better than a shredded Achilles. But
It
yeah,
is.
I
It's
didn't
still
realize
bad.
it was the double leg break.
Yeah.
It was both bones, tibia and fibula. So
He's already posting videos.
he'll be fine. He'll be back. I think he'll be at 100%. I think you can come back to 100% after a leg break. After Achilles, man, I just don't know that you're ever back to that same explosiveness.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, 7.5 for Hutchinson, 7 for Hendrickson. Kyle Van Noy was 7, so they're tied for 4th. Max Crosby 6.5. Will Anderson 6.5. Trayvon Walker 6.
Trayvon.
AVG is at 5. Derek Hall's at 5. Jonathan Grenard's at 5. Pat Jones is at 5. He'll probably finish with 5.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Nick
it.
Benito's at 5.
That's it.
A sack every week for the last
Sell
5 weeks.
Pat Jones if you got him, guys, because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the drought is coming. How do you like Van Ginkel, a little depoy odds?
We talked about it in our sode, man. I mean, it's he's got to be in consideration. I mean, he's been awesome. He won't get it just because like the metrics aren't going to be there for him.
But what if he finishes with 12, 13 sacks, the Vikings go 14-2, have the number 1 defense in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, he
Could be, right?
He could. Yeah, he'll be on the ballot, right? I think he'll be like a top 5 option, but there's just too many other people with like the name value and the PFF stuff is going to be, really, really good for them. Where it's not going to probably be as strong this year for AVG, but who cares? Like it was there for him last year.
He's
like
plus 10,000 to win depoy.
yeah, I mean it's
When Mike posted this yesterday.
it's throw a couple dollars.
Throw
on
some dollars on that,
Maybe
dude.
on Dexter too.
Dexter too.
Dexter, yes.
The problem with Dexter is just the Giants suck so
Yeah,
bad.
sure.
Sure.
Hendrickson plus 4,500 is nice as well.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What
So-
about because I don't want to talk about it later, but straight up right now, Trayvon Walker or Josh Allen?
Trayvon, I think.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
kinda swinging
I think
that
so
way, isn't
too. Who ever would have thought we would have said that after
And you got
last
like
season?
3-4 years on him too, right?
I saw some
Yes,
crazy
he's
tweet
so young.
this weekend that basically, and I'm going to butcher it, but like over the last 12 games, Trayvon Walker has more sacks than Myles Garrett over that same span, which is
It's
a
just
little
because
like
the Jags
weird.
suck, dude.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
flying under the radar.
Yeah.
Who would be your front runner for depoy right now? Myles Garrett hasn't really been. Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, kind of same thing.
It would have been Aiden.
Yeah, I mean Aiden, I think would have been a runaway favorite. I think the betting favorite is T.J. Watt right now.
Maybe Nick
TJ Watt's up there, yeah.
Bosa's playing really well. Crosby's playing well also.
Because also, I mean, as good as TJ Watt's been, he's 18 points per game this season.
Yeah.
Still just 4.5 sacks. So you got to figure he's going to have some more sacks.
That's what I'm thinking.
coming.
It's usually a narrative-based thing, and you have Van Ginkel coming over. You could see the headlines. He's the heartbeat of this defense. He's invigorated in Brian Flores' scheme.
He's an actual Viking.
Yes, right? Exactly. Like, I could see it. I mean, after this soda, I'm going to probably drop about at least $10 on him for depoy.
Wow.
'Cause I think that team's good, especially
Maybe-
if y'all get Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp,
Do 1,000.
as the internet has told us this week.
Do 1,500.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's
Do it all, baby.
Let's wrap up
Empty
with
the
this
account.
Empty the clip. Let's wrap up with this one here. Zach Bond exits. Nakobe Dean enters. and we'll leave you
gosh.
with that little pun there, Arn. Zach Bond left the game. Shoulder injury, did not return. Nakobe Dean took this opportunity to score more points than his last 3 outings combined with a monster 37-point game, 11 tackles. That was a 22.5% tackle rate. He was one of 6 Philadelphia players to abuse Daniel Jones, picking up 2 sacks of his own. So, I mean, Nakobe Dean, like him, hate him. If Zach Bond is out, that's a top 12 linebacker, I think, moving forward. Kind of like Ivan Pace.
Yeah. And even if he's not, right, he's going to be like a
Yeah.
LB3, LB4.
He still has standalone value.
Still very useful. But yeah, I mean, this was a great matchup. Anytime you get Daniel Jones, who's seems like he just loves getting sacked almost. So yeah, I mean, this will be his best week on the season. But yeah, I'm not going out of my way to try and acquire this guy. I still don't trust the health, right? I mean, I need to see it more than 7 games before I'm fully buying in. But it looks like if you did buy low on him, it's probably going to pay off.
He's at least the LB2 there.
Think about flipping him potentially, see what you could get.
Going into the second half of this episode here, as we start talking trades, that's exactly where I was going, Adam, of like, it was Daniel Jones, y'all. Nakobe Dean, like we've had a pretty long track record of watching this guy and looking at the metrics and the PFF, and I think this would be a perfect opportunity to go ahead and package Nakobe Dean for something plus. Like
Nakobe plus for something upgradable.
Well, I mean, if that's the route you want to take, then that's fine. But I was gonna say, like, I'm trying to think of like a little under the radar, like a Trevin Wallace.
I was gonna
plus
say,
right
could
now.
you get Trevin plus for Nakobe?
Or even like, I don't know how long Cashman's gonna be out. I wish we knew how long Cashman was gonna be out, but like Nakobe Dean for like Ivan Pace plus. That's probably one of those trades to me where like
People
I probably
love Pace,
want,
baby.
I guess, but it's like. I don't know. I think you can make a profit here with Nakobe Dean pretty quick, like right now.
Now's your time.
Now is the time to do it, especially if the practice reports are like, yeah, Zach Bond's looking doubtful. Send that along with the trade offer just to try to stoke the fire a little bit more.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. Like we said, shorter recap episode for you all this week. We're going to be doing the trade show. If you're watching on YouTube, go check out the channel. We've got a playlist for the IDP trade show. Go check it out. We've got a lot of trades in there. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're listening in the audio feed, stick around after the break because we'll be doing the IDP trade show. So thank you all for watching, listening, and we will see you all in the trade show.
It's the IDP